Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I don't think I'm a fast reader, but I can typically read an average-sized book in about a week. It takes me about a week, maybe 5 days to 7 days, something like that. Unless, of course, it's a children's book. Then the timing is way different. It takes me about 5 years to read an entire children's book. And here's why. You know, when you have a good children's book and you have a child, they want you to read that book to them every year for about 5 years. So you really don't finish the book. That book stays by the bedside because you know it's going to come up every now and then. And Nandana Dev Sen has written one of those books. It's called Kangaroo Kisses. Nandava is, it says here, the daughter of Nobel laureate economist, oh my gosh, I'm going to say this wrong, Amartya Sen, and Bengali writer Nabanita Dev. Please forgive me if I said that wrong. Nandana is an international film actress, an Indian writer, a children's rights activist, a poetry translator, which I need all the time. And when we have poets on, I always need somebody to help me out with the understand. Even songs, sometimes I don't get it. Somebody told me the other day what's it called? Macarena.
Yes.
Macarena is not what I don't know what it was about. Anyway.
Dance.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
No, you got to hear this whole story about what Macarena is about. You're going to be blown away. Nandana worked as a Disney Princess Jasmine in Disneyland. Oh, I bet she's beautiful then. Where is she? Where's her picture? It's got to be beautiful if she was a princess. Kangaroo Kisses. Nandana Sen. Good morning, Nandana. How are you?
I'm very well. It's lovely to be chatting with you both.
Oh, I love your accent. Are you from India?
I am very much from India, but I grew up all over the world. So my childhood was spent in England, and then my most formative years were spent in Calcutta. And then I grew up and came of age and went to college in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I'm sort of all over.
Is that where you are?
All over the world.
Is that where you are right now in Massachusetts?
No, I live in New York now. So that's where I am.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't talk like a New Yorker.
She's exotic. She talks so wonderfully.
The last lady we had did talk like a New Yorker.
I argue like a New Yorker.
Oh, do you? Oh, good. That's good. That's good. I really meant what I said in the beginning, that it does take 5 years to read a children's book, because the real driving element is the child who you're reading it to, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you test them out? How do you test out a children's book? Do you read it to children?
Yes, absolutely. I'm blessed with 6 amazing nephews and nieces, and I also do a lot of work with children. So I've been working very closely with kids for, most of since the time I was in college. So I do test them out. This particular book was inspired by my niece Hia, who lives in Delhi, and she never ever wants to go to sleep. So this book sort of came out of all of our experiences, our struggles with trying to get here to sleep. It's sort of a family project that has continued for years.
Oh, and no, really?
She would come up with, and she comes up with the most inventive excuses. So she was the muse for this book, and I absolutely tried it out with her and with my other nephews and nieces, and also the kids that I work with. We had a lovely launch for the book in New York just this Sunday with a room full of 65
nice.
Kids and grown-ups. Yeah, and everybody, all the kids started shouting out, "Not yet!" as soon as "Not Yet" comes up in the book. It was really fun.
Not yet, yes. And that's why this is going to be 5 years or more. It depends on how old your child is before he or she says, "Okay, I'm done with that one. Let's go to the next one." Yeah, I think they're going to be reading it a lot. No, have you ever been kissed by a kangaroo?
In my fantasies, yes, absolutely. I have very vivid dreams about all the sorts of, and actually that was another thing that went into the book, is all the all the fantasies that children as well as grown-ups have. How many, I'm sure both of you find yourselves wanting to continue to read or watch the news or play with the iPad as long as you can before going to sleep. I'm sure that's something that happens to you frequently.
Are you looking through my window? Because you're right. That's exactly right.
You found a wonderful illustrator in Pippa. There's because books are just filled with words, and the words are wonderful. But sometimes for children, you have to make them jump off the page, and you really succeeded in that with your illustrator.
Yes, thank you. She is supremely talented, Pippa, and brought so much beauty and character and magic to the book. I've always been fascinated by this time that's between being awake and falling asleep, because I find that at that moment, my imagination absolutely runs wild. I think of all the books I want to write. I make detailed plans for what I'm going to do in my life. Long conversations with people I like and people I don't like. So I wanted to have this, and all of this happens in my head just before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I wanted this sense of, limitless possibility and imagination in the book. And I think Pippa has done that so marvelously, this notion of that beautiful, magical time between falling asleep and being awake, and the kind of seamless going back and forth between fantasy and reality is something that I think she brought out absolutely stunningly in the book.
We had a giraffe that lived not too far from here. The giraffe has since died, but it was here. And if the giraffe was awesome. If the giraffe would kiss you, though, which basically means lick you.
Yes,
it was the smelliest thing. You didn't. You had to wash your hand, right? Because it would kiss your hand, or lick your hand. Oh my gosh, it would leave this.
What kind of a noise a giraffe makes, by the way?
No,
I don't know.
They make a humming noise, and what's very cool is that it's only audible to other giraffes. So they sort of have their secret language. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that is cool.
Neat.
My grandmother used to hum a lot. The front of the book, the only part of the cover that is glossy is the title, the little girl, and the little baby kangaroo. I love the way this was designed. That's just nice.
Yes, that's Judith Escrit, our wonderful art designer, designed the book beautifully.
The time between falling asleep and sleeping that you just talked about. I've often thought that I know you guys think I'm a nutcase, but I've had like one or two. I'm 61 years old, so when I say one or two, I'm being literal. But I've had like a psychic experience in that time frame, just like once or twice, and I wish I could do it all the time. I knew for a fact that a lady was going to call me. I knew it. It wasn't. No, I did.
I know.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I think there is very special about that time. I think something happens to to what's going on in your brain. I think I do feel like everything is a little bit sharper. It's so interesting because it seems like you can sense and feel so much more, and yet you're slowly falling asleep.
Yeah,
right. It's very much a twilight moment.
You really know how to touch a child and the parent, because both things are going to happen with this book. The parent will read to the child. Once the child starts growing, they're going to want to read this book by themselves, and then they might read it to a younger sibling, or they might have an older sibling that reads it to them. So it's a wonderful story.
Thank you. It is as much for the parent as it is for the child. It's meant to be a kind of a fun tool for the parents as well. I mean, this moment is such a special moment of intimacy and also often of playful negotiation, right between parent and child. And I wanted that to be a big part of the book.
And if you're the parent and you're reading it to the child, and at the very end you say, "I love you, I do, and I love you too. Good night, night."
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's just so touching. I have a copy of the book, Kangaroo Kisses. I would like to give it away. You and a child will be reading it for the next 5 or 6 years. I guarantee you. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. The rest of us have to go buy it. Do you have a website we can go to? We got like 20 seconds.
Yes, there's a Facebook page that is connected to Kangaroo Kisses that can be very easily found.
Okay, just go to Facebook and then Kangaroo Kisses.
Yes.
Okay, Nandana.
My name, Nandana Devsen and Kangaroo Kisses.
And we'll put this interview on the internet so that people can see this, listen to it, and they'll get the information from there as well. Thank you so much, Nandana.
Wonderful.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The presidential candidates last night squaring off over taxes, trade, and temperament.
I think my strongest asset, maybe by far, is my temperament. I have a winning temperament. I know how to win. She does not know how to win. Wait.
Fox's Mike Emanuel says Hillary Clinton has repeatedly hammered Donald Trump for his temperament as being unfit for the Oval Office.
In the debate, Clinton applied it as it relates to national security.